Okay, let's dive into an idea that is, well, it's pretty radical. And it might just change how you experience your own mind every single day. The whole point of what we're talking about here is simple, but it is profound. The voice in your head is not you. So, who is that voice then? You know the one I'm talking about. That inner narrator that's probably commenting on this very explainer right now. Have you ever stopped to ask, who is that really? Yeah, this voice probably sounds familiar. It's the one that whispers, I'm not good enough, when you make a mistake. It's the one that loves to replay that awkward thing you said 5 years ago. For pretty much all of us, this internal chatter is so constant, so convincing, that we just assume, well, we assume it's us. We believe we are that voice. So first, let's really get to know the problem here. We all have this constant narrator, this little voice that's running a nonstop commentary on our lives from the inside. And this narrator, it wears a lot of different hats, doesn't it? It's the critic, the one that wakes you up at 3 in the morning just to remind you of something embarrassing. It's the worrier, spinning all these crazy stories about dangers that almost never happen. It's the planner, always running simulations of what's next. And of course, it's the judge, giving you a play-by-play evaluation of everything you do. The real problem is that we mistake this mental software for our actual self. But here's where we make a huge shift in perspective. What if all of that, the critic, the worrier, the judge, what if it isn't actually you? Let me just say it again because it's so important. The voice in your head is not you. It's a tool. It's a mental process, a stream of thoughts, but it is not the essence of who you are. And this isn't just some neat philosophical idea. Realizing this is the key to some profound psychological freedom. Now, I know that is a huge claim, so let's build the case for it. We're going to look at a kind of triangle of evidence from neuroscience, from psychology, and from contemplative wisdom, and they all point to the same thing. There's a deeper self listening to all that noise.
First up, neuroscience. You know when your mind is just wandering, right? Ruminating about something that happened or worrying about the future? Well, scientists can actually see a specific network in your brain light up. It's called the default mode network. This is, for all intents and purposes, the neurological home of that inner narrator. So you see, the voice isn't some mystical you. It's a measurable, biological process happening in your brain.
Neuroscientist David Eagleman has this fantastic analogy for it. He says, you're not the president of your brain, making all the big decisions. You're more like the press secretary. You're just receiving a curated report of conclusions your brain has already come to. You're presented with a thought. You're not the one creating it from scratch. And psychology totally builds on this idea. Check out this process from cognitive behavioral therapy. An automatic thought just pops into your head. I am a failure. But then you can observe it. You can take a step back and ask, wait a minute, is that really true? The moment you do that, boom, you've just proven you are not the thought. You're the one who's doing the observing and the questioning. The contemplative traditions have a really beautiful metaphor for this. Thoughts, feelings, all those sensations, they're like clouds passing through the sky. They're temporary, they're always changing. But you, your core awareness, you're the sky itself. You're this vast, open space that's fundamentally untouched by whatever weather happens to be passing through. So why does any of this matter? I mean, why is this distinction so important? Because when we mistakenly identify with the voice, we trap ourselves in a prison of our own thinking. This fusion, this is the source of so much of our day-to-day suffering. And the difference is, well, it's crystal clear. When you're fused with the voice, your identity becomes absolute. I am anxious. But when you're the observer, you just notice, I feel a wave of anxiety. The first one puts you on an emotional roller coaster. The second one gives you inner stability and choice. You go from being trapped in stories about the past and future to being grounded right here in the present moment, which, by the way, is the only place life is actually happening. And the consequences of this fusion are things we all know too well. Anxiety is basically just being hijacked by the voice's scary stories about the future. Depression, so often, is believing its hopeless stories about the past. Ego and insecurity, they're just two sides of the same coin, identifying with the voice's judgments, whether they're good or bad. This isn't some abstract problem. It's the root of very, very real pain. Okay, so if that's the prison, how do we get out? Let's talk about the path to freedom. It's all about learning to create a little bit of space between you and that inner narrator. Here is a simple, super practical process you can use anytime. First, just notice the thought. Don't judge it, just notice it.
Then give it a label. Something like, there's the planning voice. Or, oh, hello, inner critic. Just doing that creates distance. Then you can question it. Ask, is this helpful? Is this even true? And finally, you can consciously let it go and bring your attention back to your breath or the feeling of your feet on the floor. This little practice is how you create that space that Viktor Frankl talks about here. The inner voice often wants to rush in and fill that gap with fear or anger. But by just observing it, you create a pause. And in that pause, that's where your power is. That's your freedom to choose a wiser response. So listen, the goal isn't to destroy the voice. It's an amazing tool for planning and solving problems. The key is to change your relationship to it. The voice can be an incredibly useful servant that you call on when you need it, but you just can't let it be a terrible master that runs your entire life. And that leaves us with this final thought. Realizing you're not the voice doesn't make it go away. It's going to keep talking. That's what minds do. So the transformative question isn't how to stop it. The question is, who is it that's listening? That silent, aware presence that hears the voice, that just might be who you really are.